Welcome to the video, guys. Second video it's the second video of amines, and in this video we are starting methods of preparation of amines. So the first method that we'll be taking is alkylation of ammonia. It's the first method of preparation that we'll be discussing. Make sure to subscribe to the channel Chemistry Cracks in order to follow up with the next videos. Right now, let's see the general reaction of this uh, method of preparation. The general reaction that we could you know write is, we have an alkyl halide. We simply add ammonia to it, NH3, right? And what we get is an amine now, and an ammonium halide salt, NH4 positive, Cl negative, right? Now let me say to you here that this ammonia, it would not get only primary amines. We get a mixture of primary, secondary, and tertiary amines, right? Now for the sake of simplicity, let's write amines. Let's draw only primary amine being formed here in the general reaction. But let me say to you, in the alkylation of ammonia, we do not get only primary amines as the product. We get a mixture of these three, right? Primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now let me show you. This is the reaction part. Here you can see an alkyl halide is being treated with ammonia, which gives us an amine, which is our product that we need, product of interest, right? And we get an ammonium halide salt, right? X negative here because this is the byproduct that's formed. It's a salt, right? Now let's deal with the mechanistic portion of this reaction. The mechanistic portion which we can write is, we have Rx, which you can write something like this. Let me erase this R and let me elaborate it. RCH2, right? RCH2, fine. We can write it like this, and then we have NH2, fine. NH3, fine. Sorry about NH2. NH3 is there, ammonia, right? Now what happens is that you can see this bond is a polar bond. This will be developing del positive charge on this carbon and del negative on this X negative, right? Del negative on this X, that's halide ion, because these are more electronegative than carbon, fine. Now what we what happens is that this ammonia, since it's a base, it will act on this carbon, and as a result of that action, this X negative will take this lone pair of this bond pair of electrons and get released as X negative, fine. And this forming a bond with this carbon, this nitrogen forming a bond with this carbon, we will get a product like this, RCH2, NH3, and a positive charge developing on this, right? Why? Because it has donated its electron pair. So this, we can elaborate it and write something like this, RCH2, N, H, H, and H, fine, and a positive charge on it. Now what will happen? It will withdraw this bond pair and take it as its lone pair and release this H as H positive. This H positive will mix with in the mixture with another molecule of ammonia, NH3, and it will be given it to this nitrogen, to this hydrogen, so we will be getting NH4 positive. NH4 positive. Now this NH4 positive will be combining with this X negative to form NH4 positive, X negative, right? This is the salt that's formed as a result of this reaction. But this is not our product of interest. Our product of interest is formed here. Here you can see this nitrogen. It has taken this bond pair, and what we are remaining with is our CH2, and NH2, right? Here you can see it's an amine. Now it's a primary amine that we are seeing, but we will be later discussing how secondary and tertiary amines are formed. But let me say it to you first, it's a method of preparation of amines. So here you can see an amine is formed and a primary amine that we are getting, right? Now in this thing you have to understand two things. The first is you have to understand we had ammonia in excess. We had ammonia in excess, and the reason for that is EXCESS, right? The reason for that is there are two reasons actually. The first is that this ammonia is helping in taking this H positive, right? It is, let me take the marker. It is taking this H positive. Here you can see ammonia is taking this H positive from this amine formed, right? So as a result of it, it is helping in keeping the reaction going in the forward direction. The second reason is that in the reaction mixture, if NH3 is more, it will prevent multiple, multiple additions of NH, multiple alkylation of this ammonia, which I will show you in the next slide how that happens. Now, first of all, here you remember that ammonia is added in excess in order to remove this H positive and keep the reaction going on in the forward direction. Let me show it to you. For example, in the first step of the reaction, we got something like this. Let me erase some things. All right. In the first step of the reaction, what we got is, we got this. Let me try it with a red pen. We got R, it's white, sorry, R, CH2 and NH2. Let me draw one H like this. Or let me just erase it and draw it like this. Here H positive is released, right, plus H positive. Now you can see this H positive, this is these two are the products, right? Now if we see the reactants and we see the products that are formed, we have this as reactant and this as reactant and this as product and this and product as product. What happens is that this ammonia is helping in removing this H positive. So as per Layer's principle, the reaction will continue in the direction in which more and more H positive will be formed because it is being removed from the reaction, right? Hope you are aware with the Layer principle, right? So here you can say that this ammonia helps us in more and more formation. This adding of ammonia in excess helps us in more and more formation of this amine. Why? Because it's promoting the reaction in the forward direction, right? It's promoting the reaction in the forward direction. The second use of ammonia, you will get to know about that in the next slide. Let me show it to you. I will be giving an example later. Let's first explain the previous concept, right? So what I was saying is that here you can see what happens is R NH2, it's formed in the first reaction that I just showed you in the mechanistic part, right? Now what happens is that, for example, we have another R X in the reaction, right? Now what will happen is that, and we have also ammonia. Let me first draw ammonia in the reaction as well. Now what happens is that this ammonia is less basic. This ammonia is less basic than this amine, which you might be knowing from the previous lecture, which I have given on the basicity of amines, right? So this is less basic. So now this will be attacking this R, right? As a result of which this will get released, and what we would get is this R being added to this amine. It has become a bit jumbled here. Let me explain it again. Let me revise it again. What happens is that this NH2 is more basic, so this will be attacking this R positive, as a result of which this R will be added to this nitrogen, which will go as something like this: R N H2, and this R being newly added, right, and a positive charge here. Now one of these H2s will get removed, and what we get is a secondary amine, R N H and R, right? In the same way, there will be more Rx in the reaction. Now this secondary amine is even more basic than this one. Fine. So now this will be attacking this R positive, this R, and removing this X negative, giving us a tertiary amine, right? R3N. Now you will be getting that how we do not get only primary amines in this reaction, we get all of them, right? Let me show you two with different pen. We get a primary amine, then after that what we get is this secondary amine, and after that what we get is this. From this secondary amine we are getting tertiary amine, that is here, right? So in this mixture, what we will be getting, we will be getting primary, secondary and tertiary. Here also you can see addition of more and more ammonia, that is adding this ammonia in excess, that will, for example, this is a reaction mixture and in it ammonia is in red color, for example, ammonia is in red color, right? It is added in excess. And let's say in yellow color primary amine is there, in green color secondary amine is there, and in blue color or in violet color, we can say, let's draw it with blue because it's not much visible, right? In blue color tertiary amine is there. So due to addition of more and more ammonia in this mixture, the possibility of this primary amine mixing with the secondary amine or mixing it with tertiary amine will be less, as a result of which multiple alkylations of ammonia will not occur, right? That's also a reason why NH3 is added in excess. So there are two reasons for NH3 being added in excess. The first is NH3 is added in excess in order to keep the reaction going on in the forward direction for a long time because it's removing H positive. And the second reason for adding ammonia in excess is that we add we that we you know do not, that it does not support multiple alkylations of ammonia because chances of encounter of uh, primary and secondary amines and secondary and tertiary amines and tertiary and primary, the combinations of 1 2 2 3 and 1 3, these interactions, that's primary and secondary interaction and secondary and tertiary, as you can see here, primary amine reacting with another R, fine. Here secondary amine reacting with where it is, here it's secondary amine reacting with another Rx, here tertiary amine, and tertiary amine will not be giving anything else, but these interactions are prevented in if NH3 is added in bulk. That's why ammonia is added, added in excess, right? Hope you get that point. Now let's give an example. Example of it will be like this. Let's add this Br, that is propyl bromide, one propyl bromide, sorry about that, one bromopropene, right? One bromopropene. Let's add ammonia to it. We'll be getting, this will be attacking here, as a result of which Br will be released. We'll be getting this thing, NH3 positive, which will be giving us this thing, NH2 and NH2 and we'll be getting NH4 positive, right? NH4 positive. So fine, this will be happening. So here we can say one bromopropene on reaction with ammonia gives us this is the end product, which is propanamyl, all right, and also ammonium. Let's take bromine, it's bromine here, so ammonium bromide. This is the salt that's formed, right? Let's revise all of the concepts, right? So what we read is that in alkylation of ammonia, first of all, the things that you are to remember are we do the following general reaction: Rx plus NH3 giving us RNH2 plus ammonium halide salt, NH4 positive, X negative, right? So this is the general reaction that you got to remember. Now after this, the second point that you got to remember is that ammonia is added in. So the second thing that you got to remember is that we would not get only primary amines, we get a mixture of primary, secondary, and tertiary amines, right? The third thing that you got to remember is that would not only we add ammonia in excess, and adding of ammonia in excess has two reasons. The first is it keeps the reaction going on in the forward direction, right? And the second is it prevents multiple alkylations of ammonia. That is, the second is it prevents multiple alkylations of ammonia, right? Multiple alkylation of ammonia. That is, it supports the formation of primary amines only. But whatsoever we do, we cannot completely ignore the presence of secondary and tertiary amines in the reaction mixture, right? Whatever we do, we finally get, if we even if we add ammonia in excess, we finally get, though we get secondary and tertiary amines in very less quantities, but we do get them in the reaction mixture, because we cannot say that there was no collision between this species R, NH2, and Rx, right? We cannot say there was no collision between them, and which did not result in the formation of a secondary amine. So these are always present there, as a result of which we say that this method of preparation, that is alkylation of ammonia, is not the best way for the formation of primary amines. So in the for the formation of primary amines, we take actually another reaction which ensures that only primary amines are formed, and that we will be studying in the next lecture, that is lecture number 3 of this playlist, and that will be about uh, Gabriel Thalamide's synthesis of amines. We'll be discussing that tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and wish you luck. This is the channel name. Fine.